Words are powerful, but silence is divine. In a world that rewards noise, the Stoic chooses stillness. In a world obsessed with expression, the Stoic learns observation. Most people speak to be heard. The Stoic speaks only when necessary. Because when you're truly grounded, your presence says more than your words ever could. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And that's the heart of Stoic communication. It's not about winning arguments. It's about mastering yourself. In this episode, we'll explore 6 timeless Stoic rules for powerful communication. Not the kind that dominates a room, but the kind that transforms it. Because when your words are few, but rooted in wisdom, they hit different. These aren't techniques for manipulation. They're practices for connection, clarity, and inner strength. If you've ever felt like you speak too much but say too little, this is for you. If you've ever wondered why people listen more to those who speak less, stay with me. Let's begin the Stoic path of saying less and meaning more. Part 1. Silence is strength. The Stoics were not loud men. They led empires, mentored kings, endured exile, but rarely did they shout. Because they knew this truth. The loudest voice in the room is often the most insecure, and the one who speaks less often sees more. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. When you pause before speaking, you give yourself space to choose clarity over chaos. You signal that your words are measured, not reactive. In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes a kind of rebellion, a quiet defiance that says, "I don't need to prove myself to you." The Stoic doesn't speak to impress. He speaks to express truth. And when there is no truth to add, he says nothing. This is why silence is strength. It builds tension. It commands attention. It reveals what others try to hide with words. Practice this. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is it kind? Is it useful? If not, let silence win. Because often the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Part 2. Listen, like a philosopher. To the Stoic, listening is not waiting to speak. It's an active practice, a discipline. Most people listen with an agenda. They're not absorbing, they're preparing a reply. But the Stoic listens to understand, not to control, not to argue, not to win. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Learn to listen, even to those you'd rather ignore." Why? Because every voice, no matter how misguided, reveals something, a fear, a desire, a truth. When you listen fully, you uncover motives behind words. You sense the emotional currents beneath the surface, and that gives you power, not over others, but over your own reactions. Practice this. In your next conversation, say nothing for the first 90 seconds. Just observe their words, their eyes, their tone, their pauses. You'll be surprised what people reveal when you stop trying to speak and start truly hearing. Part 3. Don't react, respond. A Stoic doesn't blurt, he breathes. The moment you speak from anger, ego, or fear, you lose control of the moment. The Stoic rule is simple. Between stimulus and response, create space. That space is where power lives. Imagine someone insults you. Do you snap back, justify, shame them, or do you pause? In that pause, you reclaim your dignity. You say without words, "I am not here to perform your drama." Responding means your emotions don't hijack your voice. You speak only when clarity returns. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. So let that become your shield. Let patience become your sword. Because when you respond, not react, you don't just protect peace. You become it. Part 4. Speak with purpose, not to fill the void. In a world drowning in words, the Stoic becomes powerful by choosing fewer. You don't need to fill silence. You don't need to say what everyone else is saying. Speak when your words can build a bridge, end a war, spark a thought, or bring someone back to themselves. Not to sound clever, not to seem wise, but to serve. Seneca once said, "Speech must serve a purpose greater than noise." Before you speak, ask, "What outcome do I seek? Is this aligned with my principles? Does this empower or enslave?" When your words come from a place of clarity, they carry weight. Not because you force them to, but because they're rare. And in a world of constant talking, rarity is value. So, speak with intention, and let your silence do the rest. Part 5. Disarm with calm. Emotional control is a Stoic's signature, especially, I'll say, when conversations get heated. Imagine this. Someone accuses you unfairly, raises their voice, questions your integrity. The easy route? Fire back. The Stoic route? Hold the line. Disarm them not with logic, but with calm. Why? Because calmness unsettles chaos. It reveals your inner mastery. Most people don't expect calm, they expect escalation. But when you don't rise to the bait, when you reply softly, slowly, with strength, you shift the dynamic. You move from defensive to dignified. Remember, you don't need to win the moment. You need to win your peace. So train your tone, soften your breath, ground your posture. Calm is not submission. It's dominance, without aggression. Part 6. Let your presence speak first. Before you say a word, you've already communicated. Your posture, your breath, your stillness, your attention. That's presence. And presence speaks louder than eloquence ever will. The Stoic enters a room with quiet strength, not to impress, but to embody. He doesn't need to announce who he simply is. When your presence is rooted, your words require less force. People feel your truth before you explain it. That's influence. So focus less on what to say, and more on who you are when you say it. Speak from presence, not performance, because in the end, people may forget what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel, safe, seen, and stronger, simply by being near your silence. No an muon, se viet outro con tac. In the end, powerful communication isn't about volume. It's about precision, presence, and deep understanding. The Stoics taught us, the fewer your words, the greater their weight. And when your silence is grounded in clarity, people listen when you do speak. So the next time you're tempted to interrupt, impress, or explain, pause. Let silence speak first. Let your stillness shape the room. Let your restraint build respect. Because in a noisy world, those who master quiet command the most power. If this message stirred something in you, subscribe to walk this path of modern Stoicism with us. One lesson at a time, one breath at a time. Watch the next episode on The Art of Patience in a Fast World and learn how slowing down can speed up your wisdom. This isn't just about communication, it's about becoming a person worth listening to, and that starts with silence.